Curtis, come here. Hi. How are you today? I'm just taking a break right now. Thought maybe I'll come up here and see what everybody was doing. I'm going to go live again later because I got to finish telling my story. I think it was you that asked, did I ever, do we ever dated anybody that was selling drugs? Remember? Well, later I'm going to tell the second part of the story. I never finished telling it all. Curtis cracked that one a little bit, but there's more to that story about the drug dealer that I was dating. Well, there's more to the story. So later on, I'm going to go live and tell the rest of it. You remember the part, when I was saying that I didn't know that he was selling drugs and that I would never do it again. I would never date anybody that's selling drugs because they came in my house with weapons, with guns and everything. So I would never, ever date anybody that sold drugs again because that was like really serious. And that was like very depressing for me because I had to go counseling for that. So that was very, very depressing for me. It really was. I didn't like that at all. So, it was like sleeping with the enemy. That's what it was like, you know. Nice guy, but didn't know, what he was into. So, yeah, that was really crazy. It's really crazy like when you are dating a drug dealer and then you don't expect for the cops or anybody to come in your house and tell you to get on the floor. You don't expect that. You really don't. And I tell you, that night I was scared. I was really scared. And I was laying on the floor and they draw the guns on me and everything. And then I was like tickling my fingers, moving my fingers on the floor, and the cops was like, stop moving your fingers. I had my kids in the bed, I had my kids in the bed that night. And there's nothing I could do to go back and save my kids. They stole like $100 from me out my wallet. They took my jewelry from me. Hi, India. Yeah, they did. So tonight I want to go live and tell that story about what had happened to me. And I tell everybody, don't date a drug dealer because I thought it was like all peach and cream, getting everything that I wanted. He kept giving me money. He was showering me with gifts and everything. But, there's a consequence for all that. So I would never date a drug dealer today. No way. No way. Because my kids was involved in that. And then I had like 3 kids in my house that night. My 3 sons. And matter of fact, my niece was there too. And all the kids were in room. They ransacked my house. Yeah, they ransacked the closets. They went in my son's room. And then I had like my niece there. And my niece is handicapped, So, but there was nothing I could do. I was on the floor with guns to my head. And then I asked the cops, I was like, can I get up to get some water? And they was like, yeah, you can get up. And I got up, got some water. And I had to let them know that everything in my house don't have nothing to do with no drug money because I work. I had my own cleaning business and I was making very good money. But I had to let them know this is not drug money. Drug money did not buy me what I have in my house. So, but, it's really crazy. It's really crazy. It's not worth it. It really is. And so I do want to finish telling my story. So please, God, like and subscribe. I would appreciate that very, very much. Later on, I'm going to come back on and finish telling my story about, what happened when I was dating that guy. Yeah, what happened? I mean, I bought myself a brand new Lexus. And the cops even thought perhaps that he brought that. I was like, no. So I just thank God that night that when he was at my house, he didn't have no drugs on him. So I told the cops, I was like, "Are you gonna arrest me?" And he was like, "Well, as long as you don't have no drugs in here." And thank God he did not bring no drugs in my house that night when he came there. So I'm gonna finish telling the story, but like I said, something told me they were coming to my house that night. So he didn't have any clothes on. Like I said, he didn't have no clothes on. He was completely naked. And I had my top on. And then I just got up, put my sweatpants on, and something told me to stand by the dresser because they coming. And I don't know when they was coming, but I put my clothes on. I stand by the dresser. And the next thing you know, I heard something banging. Then I heard running through my living room, and I was just standing there. And I think that night God was telling me. And it's like I didn't have enough time to tell him how I felt, what was going on with me. So I stood by the door. The cops came in there with the guns, told me lay on the floor, and I did. What else am I going to do? I couldn't even run to go get my kids. So... But yeah, so that's pretty much what happened to me. But like I said, there's more to the story. It really is. It gets a little bit more crazy later on as time go on. He did end up going to jail. He did. But I just want to go up online just to see who's going to come back later and listen in on my story. Because I want women to know, and and men too. Don't date no woman who's selling drugs, and women don't date no guys who's selling drugs. You'll love to take me out on a date, huh? Out of space. I would like to go to space. I always thought about going to space. Yeah. So anyway, I got my niece coming over and her boyfriend coming over. So we're just gonna sip on whatever I have here, some white Zinfandel, and we got some Ciroc. We're gonna sip on that. And I just cooked some chicken wings. I got home early from work. And we're just gonna have like a little relaxed evening. But believe me, they're gonna get drunk real quick. But I've been sipping before they were. And I like to talk and sip. So you'll find out sometime when you come on my live, I'm always sipping something. That's just me. It's just my relaxation time because I work so hard. But I'm glad everybody, is here listening. But please like and subscribe. Like I said, I'll appreciate that very, very much. So you guys are coming back later. I think maybe about 8 o'clock would be better. So check in, okay? Like and subscribe, and then that way you would know when I come back on. Because like I said, this story, there's more to the story about this drug dealer that I was dating. And this is true. Like I said, I tell the truth. And if you ask me any questions, I'm going to tell you the truth. And don't, it's okay to say hi, right? Don't be afraid to say hello. And my name is London. And then later on, I'll tell you why my name became London. Hello. Have a hello to everyone. So, okay, so I'm going to end this live right now. And I hope to see everybody that's here now. I hope to see you later. Love you all. Don't forget, like and subscribe, okay? I appreciate it. I really do. So I'll see you later. I'll be back on like at 8 o'clock because, like I said, I want to finish telling my story about this drug dealer that I dated. All right? So hit the button. Don't forget, because then you'll know when I come back on. Okay. See you later.